What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 55 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Not a lot. Players Cup 3's already come and gone for the first weekend by the time this goes live. So we covered all that stuff last episode. So today, it's about halfway through Series 8. Figured we could look at our tier list and see how right, how wrong we were. I have a feeling a lot of the stuff we were
going through and looking through everything and testing. Well, now that we have played with literally everything.
Yeah.
Mostly everything. We can actually talk about what's good, what's bad, and what deserves to go where.
Yeah. We have a little bit more of an idea on what things do and whatnot. So I have pulled up the tier list on screen here for those listening on YouTube, for those listening at home, on maybe listening on Pandora, our new partner for podcast stuff here. We'll have a end result saved down below in the description. So I guess we might as well start with our S tiers and talk about that.
Yeah, let's just start from the top, basically. Cosmog and Cosmoem are still really bad. Don't play them.
Tell them to get in the bag. Good talk.
Going into our S tiers, Groudon has kind of fallen off.
Groudon's never took off the way we thought it would. It's definitely been a lower tier restricted. I'm comfortable in putting it in A to B, honestly.
I think B is probably more accurate.
Like, I'm okay putting it here. Like, is the upper echelon of B,
to put it
for
in
sure. Sun just hasn't been that great. When you see it, it's like Charizard, which they're both weak to Kyogre. So Kyogre, even through Sun plus Water Spout, just blows you up.
And, Groudon was the first thing that I played in the format. And when I played it, man, I felt so far ahead in the format compared to everyone else. And I honestly think that was just a factor of the team I played and the time I played it and not a reflection of the format as a whole.
Yeah.
I think that Groudon and Venusaur are still very good together. I think that combination of Pokemon is immaculate. But I think when talking about Sun as a weather, I don't think Groudon is the setter that people want. I don't think people want to devote their restricted slot to it when Torkoal works basically just as well.
Yeah, and even better in certain situations.
The fact that there's a Sunroom team that's been running around, and I mean that's a variant of something that's been going on since Series 3.
Yep.
So having this Trick Room Sun team with Torkoal as a viable weapon on both sides of the team makes it where Groudon just really doesn't get to do everything that it's ever wanted to do in comparison to the other restricteds.
Yeah. Also, there's just a plethora of flying types in the format, so Groudon never has a very good time to hit Precipice Blades unless there's no flying types on the other side of the field, at all. And so it's stabs.
On top of that, speaking of flying types, Landorus hurts this thing immensely. You can't hit it with Precipice Blades. It intimidates you on switch in. Incineroar bodies this thing. Sure, you're weak to ground, but intimidating Groudon is one of the best things you can do against it. And after playing in Draft League and everything, if you burn Groudon, it just stops doing anything.
Yeah, that's the fact just that Groudon for most of the physical attackers, though.
Is a mon that is permanent, that sets weather, but isn't. It doesn't really benefit from the weather it sets is a big problem.
Yeah, we don't get any kind of primal shenanigans, so.
Sure, you get Fire Punch, but that's not really what we want to be doing. Yeah. If this was Primal Groudon, I think it'd be a very different story. But if this was Fire Ground Groudon with Drought compared to Primordial Sun or whatever its ability is, just literally adding the fire typing to Groudon, I think would make it way better.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Other of the weather duo, Kyogre. I think Kyogre stays put.
Yeah, I think it's, if not the best thing in the format, easily top 2.
Yeah. Kyogre definitely has shown time and again why it's scary, why it does very good things. If anything, it's probably the most played restricted next to Zacian, I believe.
I'm actually going to pull up our wonderful friends over at Architects and look it over there and see what we can see.
I think Zacian and Kyogre are the top 2 played restricteds right now, and for good reason.
Kyogre is number 10, so it's the first restricted. No, that can't be right. No, Zacian's number 4. There we go.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Zacian's at 25% usage. Kyogre's at 16%.
Yeah.
So, we'll kind of knock these out together. Even though they do very different things, they are, in my opinion, really, it feels like they're the only 2 S-tier Mons at this point.
Yeah, you could slot Cali Shadow into that, argument a little bit just because of how fast it is. Same thing with Cali Ice or one of the, Duskmane Necrozma or Solgaleo. But, when looking at them as a whole, all of them, these 2 are the 2 that stand out the most, I feel like.
Yeah, and, they are weak to very different things. Something that really stands out is, Regieleki against Kyogre. It puts on a ton of pressure against it. It puts on a ton of pressure against the Tornadus that's usually next to it. There's also variants that are running Whimsicott, so you're not doubling up on that electric weakness. Mm-hmm. But then you also have to worry about specifically with Kyogre teams, something that I'm a big fan of is playing Raichu with it. Just to stop the amount of electrical attacks coming at you, just having Raichu in the back can put on a ton of pressure against opposing Elekis. Another thing that's really, really good against Kyogre, Lapras setting up screens just kind of bodies it.
Yeah.
Water
Lapras
Lapras
is the
just
counter.
completely shuts down Kyogre.
A lot of Kyogre have had to swap to running Water Spout, Origin Pulse, and Thunder, so they lose that ice coverage a lot of the times, which means your grass types like Venusaur, Rillaboom start to just be able to chip away at it better. So there's definitely play around on the against Kyogre, which is good.
My optimal build of Kyogre right now, I think it's appropriate to drop Origin Pulse. That sounds really weird, but I think it's correct because I want the ice coverage for Rillabooms, and I want Thunder for Lapras. Having one or the other doesn't feel great.
It's good and all until you run into one fire type that you just can't hit because you have ice and electric coverage and you don't have any decent water coverage anymore because you're at 10% HP.
That is true. That is one of the downsides to it is if you're... I don't want to drop Water Spout though, just because it can put on so much pressure early.
Yeah.
But it might be appropriate to drop it for Origin Pulse, but then you have to worry about accuracy problems.
Mm-hmm.
So do you drop it for Scald? That doesn't seem right.
No.
And I feel like it's almost required to have Protect. Looking here at Architects, I mean, Water Spout, Protect, Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, Thunder, Scald in moves. You don't have a lot of variance when it comes to Kyogre's move pool.
No.
But there's a ton of things that Kyogre does really well. It puts on immense pressure early, especially under Tailwind. Being able to fire off huge water spouts. Not the fact that you don't have to use it as your Dynamax target makes it immensely good.
That's part of the trend I'm noticing is a lot of the good restricteds are either not Dynamaxing or can't Dynamax. Zacian just that's what makes it so good is you can build your whole team and then just throw Zacian in.
Yeah, the fact that you can just be like, all right, well, here's 4 or 5 mons. I don't have a restricted. Yeah, we'll throw dog on there. It works great. It can be played with anything. We'll talk about it here after a while, but the team of the week I'm playing this week is playing Zacian. And it's really good. It's actually the first time I've got to play with Zacian, and it feels really, really good.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. I've been playing Zacian on like hidden on Showdown for like weeks now, and it's been great.
And, that's a big contrast to what I've said in the last couple of weeks, where I'm just like, you can go back and clip it and be like, I've said something along the lines of, Zacian's not very good. Why are people playing it?
It's true. I've been real high on Lapras Zacian just overall, because Kyogre's the one thing you have a hard time beating with your Zacian teams, and having that Lapras, having that Thundurus helps beat up Kyogre a ton. The current team I'm playing with is Fast Amoonguss, Umbreon, Zacian, Lapras, AV Thundurus, and Landorus. And
dude, you want to talk about like sleeper picks in this format? Umbreon is up there, man.
Oh yeah, I've debated taking one of my shiny Eevees that I have hiding around and just evolving it into an Umbreon just so I have it.
Dude, it's really good. It is way better than I thought it would be ever.
Access to just bulky Snarl is just really good. Having access to Snarl is just really good in this format in general. Like, Snarl, as physical heavy as it is,
are really good.
Like, just reducing damage is important.
Yeah, and that's something, going back to the Zacian team, the team that I've been playing with also has P2, which has Eerie Impulse. And it's just like, okay, you officially do no damage.
Yeah.
Like between P2 and Incineroar, I just bulk up naturally. I don't need screens to be bulky. I just stop you from doing damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on here, unless you have anything else to say about Zacian or Kyogre.
Nah, we've talked them to death, honestly. The big one here on this thing is Yveltal, which Yveltal's the one that I was iffy on S tier before we put it in here, and I'm still kind of iffy on it, but it keeps just putting up results in random places, and I don't know why.
So, you and I both played it in Draft League, and it was absolutely insane. Week in and week out, I was thoroughly impressed with Yveltal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've played against it on ladder in the last, month. People just aren't playing it.
I'm thinking that's what it is more than anything. It's just people just don't want to play it. They know, Zacian and Kyogre are known quantities, so people want to play with those. Groudon is a known quantity, so people want to play with it. Things like Duskmane Necrozma, Solgaleo, Zamazenta, those are all just known things that are very good. And Yveltal it's kind of iffy because it's this kind of support Pokemon that has a lot of damage output and has a kind of deep move pool, both physical and special. So it's harder to play with, I would say, and it's not made for a best of one format.
Yeah, that's the thing is, tackling that last thing you said there, it's not good for best of one. I'm actually going to counter that. I think this is an insanely good best of one mon, because you don't know what it does until it happens. The fact that it can carry Assault Vest, it can carry Weakness Policy, it can carry, just generic item. It could carry a berry if need to and just bulk up in front of you. It does a lot, but when you actually look at its move pool, it really only does one thing really well.
And that's just sit in front of you and Oblivion Wing you to death?
Yeah, basically. It has access to Tailwind.
Yep.
Which is good. But
Snarl, Tailwind, Sucker Punch, Focus Blast, Shadow,
Oblivion Wing, Heat Wave,
Phantom
it has
Force,
a lot working for it.
Foul Play.
And what's really great is Foul Play gets boosted by Dark Aura. Like, so you have that going for you. If you have like Black Glasses on, it gets boosted even more.
Yeah.
Like the people who are playing this as like mono dark type just beat you down, I don't think is correct.
No.
I think there's a lot of ways you can play Yveltal, but I don't know where it fits right now. And I think it's probably down in like C tier, to be honest with you.
I was going to suggest going into B, just because it still is Tailwind, it still is...
That's fair.
And the reason it's not a very good best of one is because it's harder to play with than Burr, hit Zacian, go Behemoth Blade, kill you kind of situation. It's much harder.
If you are an experienced Yveltal player, if you have 100 games under your belt playing with the team, and you know the ins and outs of it and know what to do with it, it's a very good Pokemon.
Yeah, it's much harder for people to just slap a ladder team together with it and just grind with it, and that's why you don't see it very often.
It doesn't feel like a team that's very good. Like, it doesn't feel like a Mon that newer players are going to be geared toward playing.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. I'm expecting Yveltal to just smash Players' Cup 3.
Dude, I would not be surprised.
I'm expecting Yveltal and Reshiram and Dialga just to come roaring through the ranks and just smash Players' Cup 3.
So, talking on that note, what do you think it's going to end up? Like, do you feel comfortable leaving it in B?
I think it's fine in B. B is a very good tier for Yveltal just because it has access to Tailwind, it has access to Snarl. Like we just talked about with Umbreon, Snarl's a very good thing to have. Also, being able to just even go Modest Nature and just pick up KOs with Sucker Punch still because Dark Aura is busted is just a really good thing to have it for. So I think B is a fine spot for it, honestly.
So that leaves only one more up in the original S tier.
Cali Shadow. This thing has been underwhelming to say the least. Like, it requires a lot of pivoting and playing around your weaknesses to try and avoid getting hit. Things like follow me, redirection, proper switching are all just it rewards good play styles, but gets punished if you're the last Mon standing situation.
From my experience, Shadow Rider has been a thorn in my side from the beginning of this format. I, for the life of me, cannot beat it.
Play more Umbreon. Play more Incineroar. Man.
I see it in team preview and go, I don't know what to do, and my brain just shuts off.
Click Snarl in front of it. It's fine.
That's the worst part. I know how to beat it. I know what to do, but I never get into a position where I can capitalize on my game plan and can punish them for doing what they're doing.
See, I've had the opposite issue. I just blow them all up. I feel like Cali Shadow Rider is the easiest of the two to play around.
Oh, see, both of them, I'm just I know what these do. I can't beat them to save my life.
It's harder to beat Cali Ice because the coverage is everywhere. Mm-hmm. They can carry ground, they can carry fighting, they can carry grass, they can carry steel. Whereas Shadow Rider is I have Astro Barrage, I have Snarl, I have Will-O-Wisp. It's
the common sets are I've seen Draining Kiss running around. Yep. I've seen Pollen Puff. Let's see. Looking at Architects here, we have Astro Barrage, Expanding Force, Mudshot, Hyper Beam.
Sounds like normal Spectrier stuff at this point.
Draining Kiss. I mean, the big thing is this paired next to Indeedee or this next to Lele, I think is very good. Being able to set psychic terrain so where you can't be interacted with before you move because you are so fast is a very good thing.
It's the best thing you can do is redirection and just trying to avoid priority with it, which is why Indeedee female is so good with it. The downside is you're both weak to dark.
And then Urshifu comes in and says, all right, well, I'm going to punch you.
Like, I resist both stabs from you, and I'm just going to punch you.
I ignore one stab, I resist the other, get ya. And like,
yep.
To another extent, Incineroar, as weird as it sounds, lines up really good against this thing.
Yeah, like I was saying, Incineroar, Umbreon, all of these dark types line up really good against Astral Rider, Astral Barrage, just because it's just like it's spread ghost damage. The keyword being spread. It sucks that it's just like it has to be a spread move, and you're like trying to pick up KOs with it, and sometimes you just don't get enough. And so having a dark type there to just kind of soak up that damage is very good. So I'm comfortable moving Cali Shadow down to A.
I think it is. If it's not S, it is very high A.
Yeah, like it's gonna be. It would be right about here probably in this.
I think it is
these
very
top two
borderline.
slots.
And going from one Cali form to the other, I think that's right. I think
that's where it goes.
I think Cali Ice is probably the one that belongs in S tier. It is the problems with Cali Ice is there's a lot of Intimidate running around. You are weak to Urshifu, you're weak to Incineroar on both of its stabs. You're weak to Incineroar for a plethora of reasons, as we will probably see a lot today. Incineroar is really good, and there's reasons it's really good.
There's a reason it's really good. You should go watch the deep dive from Wednesday, and you can find out why Incineroar is really good.
Yep, if you want to know why, go follow Carl's stuff and listen to it, because honestly, that video is very good. It's very informative. I haven't got to watch the one that came out today.
Yeah, Friday.
Yep, I haven't got to watch
Thunderous
the one
Incarnate.
yet, but I'm excited to watch it and see what you had to say about Thundy.
Yeah, Thundy's a pet Pokemon of mine right now. I really am enjoying Thunderous. But back to Cali Ice here. Didn't know it got Seed Bomb until I got Overgrowth one time. Did not know that. Got blown up by that.
I know that one because Bauer Dad did it in Draft League. Not against me, but I got to watch it, and it was great.
So I think Cali Ice is definitely the S tier. Like, it is the premier Trick Room abuser right now, next to probably Duskmane Necrozma, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But definitely don't sleep on Cali Ice. It's a very good Pokemon right now. Even though it has a bunch of extra weaknesses compared to Glastrier, it's still really good.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, though. I still prefer Glastrier, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, Ice is already one of the worst typings defensively. If you add Psychic to it, that just adds more weaknesses to Ice.
Yeah, you're not adding any resistances. I mean, yes, you are.
You're removing a fighting weakness, but
like, I don't think that's enough. I don't think there's enough fighting specific coverage running around where that's a problem.
Like, Urshifu's just gonna hit you with the Dark type move instead. Like,
so, like, does being faster under Trick Room, is that worth the extra move pool slots that you gain? And the extra ability of Unnerve? And I think the answer is probably yes. I think a lot of people will probably say yes. But I'm in the camp that Glastrier is really underrepresented in this format.
Glastrier is underrepresented because everyone just thinks Ice Rider's better, so they just play it immediately. There's also just a lot of incidental hate against Glastrier specifically because there's just Ice Rider just running around. Mm-hmm. So Glastrier is going to get less play because just one, everyone's Glastriers are tied up into Calyrex Ice.
I'm waiting on the team that plays both. Both
Glastrier and Ice Rider? That'd be cool.
And uses Glastrier as a Trick Room setter. I mean, he uses Cali as the Trick Room setter.
That'd be cool.
Someone do it, please. I want to play it.
Moving through the rest of A tier here, This Xerneas needs to get out of here.
Yeah, you can drop that for a while. Keep going.
Nah, C is about where it needs to be. Xerneas does one thing really well. It does the whole.
It, though?
Did you watch the ladderings I played with it? Xerneas, sweet. Xerneas actually cleans up. When it gets to do the thing, it gets to clean up games, and Livs hits it probably shouldn't.
But
the problem is there's a million steel types running around because Ice Rider's around, so it actually gets weaker. That's why it's in C.
Not only that, but I think the fact that it takes a turn to set up while other restricteds just Dynamax in front of it and ignore it is a big problem with Xerneas right now. I think Xerneas is probably like the restricted that suffers the most from quote unquote power creep. The fact that Dynamax really just comes in and puts on immense pressure starting on turn 1, depending on what they lead, can really dictate the pace of the game. Basically in team preview.
A lot of the games I won with Xerneas were where I would properly switch in whatever into a steel type attack or into a poison type attack and dodge weaknesses for Xerneas. And then once their Dynamax was stalled out, Xerneas gets to come in, sets the Geomancy with Power Herb, and then we Dynamax, or then we just click Dazzling Gleam and just spread damage all over them. It's just how you got to play with it. You just got to play Xerneas a little bit more defensively. It's not the go fast button that everybody's expecting it to be. It's definitely
this is not 2019. Don't play it like it was.
Yeah, this is definitely I'm going to hold this in the back for as long as possible, because once I remove the threats to Xerneas, it just gets to sit there in front of you. It gets to outspeed you. It gets to just bulk up in front of you and just click Dazzling Gleam all day. Dialga. I
think Dialga is still really good.
I think Dialga's fine where it's at in A.
I think in A is probably where it belongs.
Still has access to just really good coverage. It's really bulky. It's only weak to fighting ground.
Which, granted, ground is a very common type right now. With the likes of Zygarde, Groudon, all the Incineroars running around, all the Landorus running around. Like, there's a lot of reasons to be playing with ground coverage, and a lot of reasons to expect ground coverage from your opponent.
That being said, Dialga's bulky enough to take all of them.
Oh, yeah. And that's before, like, you even look at investing or look at items. Like, it takes hits upon hits upon hits.
The best way to beat Dialga, I found, is to just either Snarl or Intimidate it, depending on its damage type, into the dirt. Just make it to where it deals no damage. And if it deals no damage, then you can just chip away at it and you're fine.
I believe it was with the Eternatus team. I played against a Dialga, and I just, like, stalled out their Dynamax and then one-shot it.
Just blew it up?
Yeah, just be like, all right, cool, go away now.
Yep. It may only be weak to 2 types, but it takes a ton of neutral hits. Mm-hmm. Like, Fire's a neutral hit, Dragon's a neutral hit, Fairy's a neutral hit, Resist Psychic, Ice is a neutral hit. Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, Ice is neutral. I was going to say, I'm neutral. Like, no, Ice should be resistant, and then I remember it's Dragon type.
Speaking of other dragons, this Giratina. You were very high on Giratina when we started this whole thing, and it's been a while since then. What do we think now?
I like it. I don't think it's very good, though.
How not good is it, Carter?
It's better than Rayquaza.
Well, that's a start. Is it better than Xerneas?
I think it is more versatile than Xerneas.
Okay, we can put that. We can do that. Is it better than one of these one of these Bs?
It's probably on par with, like, Zamazenta.
Okay.
Like, it's probably, I like it in C, I think. I think C is probably appropriate. The thing about it is specifically this is origin form, right?
This is whatever the The walking one is.
Yeah, that's...
Before the orb. No orb.
I'm looking.
This is base. This is base.
It's altered. Origin's the other one.
Yeah.
So altered is really interesting. Like, it has base 120 attacks, or is it 100?
I have no clue.
I'm pulling up Bulbapedia.
Say I can tell you random. You can just check out Archdex, dude.
Oh yeah, duh. You're way smarter at this than I am. Yeah, it's 100s.
Okay.
100s in both attacks, 120 in both defenses, 150 HP. So, like, its bulk is immense. Its bulk is absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Before you even look at investment or slapping a assault vest on it or whatever.
As someone who has lost to this thing multiple times in Dynamax adventures, it is very bulky.
And, you know, that's before you look at its move pool. Like, its move pool is insane. It can do 100 different things, too.
Yeah, it has the great dragon coverage.
How do you play it? That's the big thing. Do you play it Assault Vest? Do you play it as a Dynamax target? Do you play it as this weird, awkward support thing that
Weakness
has
policy
access
comfy.
To, like,
Let's go.
Will-O-Wisp?
Weakness policy comfy. Blow everybody up.
That's how I played it, and it was really good. Actually, I think I played it with Life Orb, but I bluffed the weakness policy because I had Lapras. Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds right, yeah.
But, like, you have, like, your physical move pool is really interesting because you have access to, like, Iron Head to boost your defenses even more. You have Poltergeist to lower theirs and to hit them extremely hard outside of Dynamax. You have Shadow Force, which anyone who's played with or against Dragapult in the last year knows how good that move is.
Yeah.
You have dual wing beat, so you can boost your speed in Dynamax. You have Shadow Sneak for priority. Like, its physical move pool is really good. And then you look at its special move pool. And, like, it does 100 different things here, too. It has Energy Ball. It has Earth Power. It has Draco and Dragon Pulse. Like, it has Dark Pulse, which then lowers their special defenses, so then your follow-up attacks are doing even more. Like, it has Thunder, so you can hit Kyogre super effectively. Granted, you also have Energy Ball, so you can do that, too, but... So, like, you can play it either way. Personally... I like special more. You lose out on exactly flying coverage, but technically not because you have Air Cutter, which is not the worst.
Yeah, but it's not the best either.
I mean, granted, it is a spread move, but in the purposes of Dynamax, we know how good it is because of Crit Kiss in the past. But Crit Kiss was good because it was a high crit move. It had Scope Lens. It had Super Luck. That's what made Air Cutter good on it.
Yeah.
But
which we don't have any of that here.
But it is flying coverage so you can boost your speed in Dynamax.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, if that is something you need, you can do it. Do I think that's particularly good? No.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I think Giratina, it was a team that really impressed me in laddering when I played it. In reality, though, I don't think it's very good. Especially in the current format where Zacian and Kyogre are both very popular. You don't line up particularly well against either of them, and you straight lose to Ice Rider.
Oh, yeah. That's the problem with any of these dragons that... except for like a Reshiram, they just straight up lose to Ice Rider a lot of the time. Like
if Trick Room goes up and Ice Rider comes in unchecked, you probably are going to lose the game.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Last A slot for now, Duskmane Necrozma.
It's really good.
I like where it's at. There's an argument you could put it at like low S, be like A plus low S.
I think it's better than Dialga. Like, if we're ranking these inside the tiers, I think it's better than Dialga. I didn't play with Shadow Rider I don't think, did I? No, that was you.
I did.
So I can't really compare the two in my personal experience, but man, playing with Duskmane, it was insane. The number of games it just came in and single-handedly wins you the game is immense. Like, Prism Armor is an insane ability, and the fact that you just slap weakness policy on it and say, all right, sure, hit me. Oh, nice Intimidate. I don't care.
Hit me. Do it. Duskmane Necrozma was definitely in the upper A's, lower S's for sure, with that Cali Rider. It's definitely better than Dialga in my opinion. Just like we have more weaknesses, but we get to do more, I feel like, because Dialga's almost pigeonholed into being a special attacker a lot of the times because a lot of its good coverage is in special attacks. Whereas Duskmane Necrozma, you get to do both. You can be a physical attacker with Earthquake and Rock Slide and Sunsteel Strike, or you can be a special attacker with, I think it gets access to like Earth Power and Flash Cannon, and there's a couple other weird coverage moves that you get. I think it gets Dark Pulse too,
which lets you Power Gem because I died to it. I feel like that's literally the reason you're bringing up Special Duskmane.
No, I bring it up because Evan was using it, and I watched in the Snowpocalypse event.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's where I watched a lot of it. I watched a lot of it there, and he was using Special Necrozma, which was really cool.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I lost to Special Necrozma in Top Cut of Draft League, and it honestly, it felt like an embarrassment. Granted, I got in my own mindset of I'm probably losing this week anyway, and then game 1 went so terribly that game 2, it didn't really matter what happened, and I felt like I played game 2 really well, and then after his Dynamax ended, I had Reflect up, and he's just like, all right, power gym you. I'm like, oh, we're dead.
Blow you up.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're getting into the B's and C's here and the meat and potatoes of all this. This is where most of the majority of our Pokemon ended up being to begin with. I think Zygarde still belongs in B, just probably not up that high.
Yeah, this is your pride and joy. You talk me through this one.
So Zygarde still does amazing things in this format. It has a lot of, like, it's a build around though. You have to build around it. I currently have a team with Zygarde that I'm working on for best of 3. That is, it plays Scizor and Thundurus and a lot of these cool like niche Pokemon that I really like enjoy and play with. So it's like fun for me, but that's about it. I know that there's been the task of Wolfie. I know Wolfiglick has made an unkillable Zygarde, which it's hilarious. You just sit there and you coil up in front of things and protect when you think they're going to hit you, and just bait protects over and over and over and just coil, and it's great. Will you win the late game that way? Probably not. But it's fun to kind of just sit there and just try to make this unkillable Pokemon. But it's definitely not like playable like the other ones are. I would consider a restricted playable. It's like you don't have to build around it. You can just slap it on a team or on an archetype like Groudon, like Kyogre, where you just I'm playing with Sun. I'm playing with Venusaur. Okay, so I need a Sun setter. Okay, I can play with Groudon. Or, hey, I like Rain. I want to play with the Steel type. I want to play with the Grass type. Rain helps reduce a fire weakness. Kyogre seems really good here. Things like that. Zygarde is, okay, I have to have a way to beat fairies. I have to have a way to beat ice. I have to have a way to do this. I have to have a way to do that. Like, there's no, like, give or take, really. So I enjoy playing with Zygarde because it's like a fun puzzle a lot of the time, trying to figure out, okay, how do you just trying to predict your opponent's moves, trying to get around through that, and then get to a situation where Zygarde can start to set up coils or just take over the game, either way. But that's definitely not for everyone. And that's putting it like lightly. It's definitely not for everyone. I would not recommend Zygarde to just any player coming into the game. I would recommend Zygarde to someone who's bored with the format and wants a challenge, probably.
Makes sense.
I still think it's better than all these C's, though. It's still better than all these. It's still actually, like, it wins games. It can just take over a game by itself. Zygarde Complete is a monster. Complete form is just, it just destroys people on ladder.
It's insane. Like, it puts on a ton of pressure and punches things really hard.
outside of Zygarde complete, I know people have been playing with 10% Doggo. Please don't. It doesn't do enough.
Please stop.
Navier, this is we're gonna have an intervention here in a little while because you keep sending me all these Doggos and I can't do anything with it because it just doesn't do anything.
But
10% doesn't do enough.
Free coil because Focus Sash.
Yeah, that means squat.
and then your power construct triggers and
that implies they haven't doubled up into you yet.
Carl, Focus Sash.
Yeah, that implies they didn't double into you. It doesn't do enough. Trust me, bigger 50% Zygarde survives hits on its own. It's good enough. The fun team I've been playing with the Scizor and the Thundy also has Tapu Fini, who has Heal Pulse and Misty Terrain, because you don't run Dragon coverage you don't run Dragon coverage. You just don't. Your moves are Coil, Protect, 1,000 Arrows, and like Iron Tail. You sit there and Coil and 1,000 Arrows people to death, or you Dynamax and set up Max Steel Spike and Max Quake, so you just become this bulky monster after they proc your weakness policy for you. It's great. Moving on to some of these other bees here, gotta kind of lightning around some of these. Ho-Oh can stay where it's at.
Oh, see, I actually think Ho-Oh's... I think it's probably not quite A, but it's probably better than Groudon. I think it's probably the upper echelon of B.
See, I don't think it needs to be up there. I was gonna move Lugia up closer to Ho-Oh, honestly.
See, that's fair. Lugia, I think, has definitely impressed me more just because of the amount of bulk it does have. My big problem with it is it, again, just doesn't really put on offensive pressure until your weakness policy is triggered.
Like, yeah, if you just... It has the Metagross syndrome. If you avoid the weakness policy, it doesn't do anything.
Yep. So I think Lugia up to C is probably appropriate. I think high C is very good. It's
Lugia is better than all of these random dragons.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, for sure.
Ho-Oh is definitely B. It's probably fine right where it is.
Yeah, like it's an upper B. Like Ho-Oh's fine right where it's at. It's not going up. It's not going down. You can win a game with it. You can do stuff with it. The problem I've seen with Ho-Oh is you have to like avoid Incineroar and Landorus because they just put you in the dirt.
Yeah,
Landorus especially.
Landorus.
Yeah, Landorus especially just really just puts you in the dirt and it just feels bad playing against it. So you have to have ways to beat Lando. Palkia. I would move Palkia up into A. I would do that. I feel comfortable doing that.
I think it's probably on pace with Dialga.
It doesn't have his best
very appropriate right there in A.
The best typing, because Lapras is popular. It doesn't have the best typing in the world, being a water dragon.
Yeah, you kind of need to avoid exactly freeze dries, but past that, I think it's really, really good.
Also, taking neutral damage from electric is kind of iffy. Like Reggie, like he can easily just 2 or 3 shot you.
I forget if it was on laddering, like when I was actually recording, or if I was like playing a practice match or something. But I ran into Palkia with Flamethrower. It threw me for a loop.
Okay.
And I've seen like Thunder to be able to counter Kyogres, which I mean that's not the most uncommon thing. Am I crazy for saying Spatial Rund's bad? No, wait, no. Spatial Rund's good. Roar of Time is bad.
Yeah, Roar is the one that's not so good. Spatial Rund's okay. You get lucky crits every once in a while.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably worse than Draco.
It's slightly worse than Draco. It has a little bit better upside because you don't have to worry about missing as much, I don't think. I think it's 95 accuracy versus Draco's what, 85?
Draco's 90, I think.
Is Draco 90?
I'm pretty sure.
It feels like an 85.
Yeah, it's 130 and 90.
It feels like an 85 a lot of the time because I just miss more than the average.
Have you considered being luckier?
Yes. It doesn't work. Zamazenta really impressed me when I played with it. Is that enough to move it out of B tier? Probably not.
That's fair.
When on that sand team felt fantastic. I had never been more pleased with a random team I pulled from the internet than I had been with that. It was great just having access to Tyranitar, having access to Excadrill. There's Zamazenta on the team. It does a lot. Zamazenta's still fast. Coaching is still really good.
Who knew that coaching was really good in a format full of physical attackers and intimidators?
Right?
Never would have figured that one out.
Never would have guessed. So yeah, Zamazenta's good. Is it going to move out of B? Probably not. Here's what I want to talk about. Reshiram.
Reshiram is the biggest sleeper pick of this format.
This is the one where it's like, this is the B tier going into probably A or S. Like
I don't think
low
it's quite
S. I think it is.
I don't think the representation of it is good enough to put it into S.
I'm gonna put it there.
I think it's probably below Duskmane in terms of A.
No.
Really?
Hard pass. Yeah, hard pass on that. Reshiram, like I said, Reshiram belongs either low S or high A. It's 100%. It's a head above Cali Shadow.
It was very, very good when I played it.
It is a head above Cali Shadow easily. Which means it's ahead of Duskmane.
And against it, I'm just like, holy cow, this thing impresses me.
It's very bulky, just naturally with its resistances. You don't have to worry about Fairy. You don't have to worry about Steel types don't wall you anymore because you just have Blue Flare to blow them up. You really only have to worry about a Ground Rock or a Dragon. That's it.
According to Archidex's monthly dashboard, Reshiram is at 0% usage.
Yeah, it's kind of like it has the same issue of Yveltal. It's not played a lot, but the games you see it in, it just dominates people.
I will restate it. Reshiram is the biggest sleeper pick of this format.
Yeah. So I think right there above Cali Shadow is a perfect spot for it, in my opinion.
I think Solgaleo is probably A as well. I think it's under
Solgaleo is
Duskmane,
definitely Solgaleo moves up. Duskmane and Solgaleo both do similar things and different things at the same time, if that makes sense.
They are very, very similar.
Yet very different at the same time.
Exactly. The big thing is being immune to Intimidate's really good.
Yeah, being able to go physical attacker, immune to Intimidate, and then you never have to worry about losing your weakness policy boosts is really good.
It's like Metagross, but better.
Yeah, literally. That's what exactly it is.
That's a comparison that many people have made. And one, I'm not going to claim to be the first person to ever make that comparison, but it's true.
Yeah, it's 100% true. That's exactly what it is. It's Metagross, but better.
Legitimately, it's a mon that doesn't see nearly the amount of play it should as well.
Yeah. And that's partly because it fights with Metagross. It fights with Duskmane. It's a Steel Psychic type. It's a very good typing. Man, could you imagine if Steel still resisted Dark? Oh my goodness. Actually, I think it would actually make him worse because things like Brutal Swing wouldn't be able to proc a policy anymore.
Oh, for sure.
I think it actually makes him worse if Steel resisted Dark. That's all the B's, right? Yeah.
That is, yes.
Moving into C's, I don't see any of these really moving too far. If anything, they move down. We can move Rayquaza down. We can get this guy out of here. We can get this guy out of here.
The Zekrom forms are really bad.
This can move up.
I do want to talk about specifically Kyurem White and Eternatus.
And we'll talk about these. We'll move these to the front because I don't know exactly where we're going to put them yet.
I think Kyurem White is probably B.
Yeah, I can see that. It's everything that Reshiram does, but on an ice and dragon type instead of a fire and dragon type, so you have more weaknesses.
It is worse, but your special attack, it's 170, man.
Isn't Reshiram's 150? It's like 20 difference.
Yes.
Is that worth anything to you? I don't think so a lot of the time.
So I'm gonna pull them up side by side. Just
Like,
so I can actually compare them.
We get more special attack and more, I think, defense? Special defense or something like that? I can't remember.
So it's 125 HP compared to 100 for Kyurem.
Yeah.
Your defenses are actually worse. You have 90 compared to 100, and then 100 on special compared to 120. But you gain 20 in special attack, putting you to 170, and then you're faster at 95 compared to 90. So
if we were 100, I would think that would be very good. But we're not at 100. We're at 95.
Yeah. So it's really similar. It's not better than Reshiram though.
No.
It hits so hard, man. It's absolutely insane how hard this thing can hit.
I didn't get to play with either of these.
I
got stuck with Zekrom. I got stuck with Zekrom. Zekrom felt terrible. Let me tell you.
You didn't play Kyurem Black. I don't want to hear it.
No, like I think Zekrom was worse than Kyurem Black.
Oh, it is.
Like, I got stuck with Zekrom. Zekrom can be down here for all I care.
You know, it's crazy.
They can be down here in F.
There for a hot minute, it was really good. Like, in like Ubers, it was really good. And then they introduced the rest of the legendaries into the format, and it just, like, died.
Like, I mentioned this, I'm pretty sure, ad nauseum in the episodes I played with it. Electric Dragon is a terrible duo. Oh my goodness.
The fact that Dracozolt was once considered the best, like, one of the best Pokemon in a format confuses me.
That's because it has a hustle and bolt beak, and because you could actually like make it fast. Zekrom is like, I get intimidated. I'm weak to ground on top of everything that Dragon's weak to, and electric adds nothing to help me. Like, electric hits flying, electric hits water. Zekrom didn't care about those to begin with. What is it gonna do now?
Yeah, I would probably put Zekrom down in F. It is probably unplayable. I'm really tempted to put Kyurem Black down there too.
Kyurem Black is staying D because it's at least it's Ice and Dragon, so it helps the Dragon type a little bit.
It just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it has the same problems as Zekrom. It's just a better typing.
Like, you're less bulky. It's literally the same trade-off between Kyurem White and Reshiram. You have less bulk, but you have 5%, like 5 points into speed and 20 into attack.
Yeah, but you have a better typing, which is better.
That does make a difference. And then you get hit with a Will-O-Wisp and you cry.
And you also have what was it? We don't have Ice Punch. We have Icicle Spear.
Yeah.
As physical ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. You don't run this thing to hit opposing dragons with Ice type. You run this thing to hit opposing dragons with Dragon. Blow them up that way.
Speaking of dragons, Eternatus. This thing impressed me way more than I thought it would.
Enough to move it into B? Or are we going to keep it in C?
I think it's fine in C. But I think at the upper echelon of C is correct. It is probably the closest one, in my opinion, to being pushed into B.
Okay. We could put it in front of Lugia then.
It's really close, but man, just getting to Meteor Beam people felt really good.
Yeah, that was the cool thing with what's his name? What did I do? There was no legendary Rayquaza. Being able to hit people with just like Rayquaza Meteor Beam felt fantastic.
See, the problem with Rayquaza though is it's really bad.
I don't know, man. Being able to just hit opposing Ice Riders with just like, here's Meteor Beam, I'm gonna blow you up. We got the Helping Hand Meteor Beam and just blow up Cali Ice.
I did that many a time with Eternatus. And then my opponent Dynamax and Amoonguss in front of me. That is still the craziest thing I think I've seen on laddering yet. Weakness policy, Dynamax, Amoonguss.
Goodness. Meteor Beam's actually, Meteor Beaming people is actually a lot of fun. Because it's a lot of just like, it's like your fingers crossed because it's not 100% accurate. So you're just like sitting there wide-eyed waiting to see the animation go off.
I will add that the Eternatus team I played was also a Colossal team. So like when Eternatus wasn't good, you just Colossaled people.
So that kind of just takes away from Eternatus for me. Like,
but
was
like,
Eternatus like...
I mean, yes, to an extent, but man, the Eternatus, when it did its thing, it would 4-0 people.
Yeah.
Like, if people anticipated Cole and I led Eternatus, I would just win.
Which that's surprising. A lot of the times people are running ground types to beat up Cole, so it's like ground types also beat up Eternatus.
It is really awkward. I'd be interested in testing, like, Eternatus Gigas and testing that out, because like Weezing next to it, you don't really care. You are again doubling up on your ground weakness, but you're losing out on pressure as an ability. So you already don't have an ability to begin with.
As long as people are optimally PP maxing their moves. Correct.
Which like even still, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah. Last Pokemon in C here is Mewtwo.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was our baseline from the last one where it's like, how good is Mewtwo compared to X? How good is Mewtwo compared to Y? And things like that. And
it is better than everything in D tier.
That is for sure. And it's worse than everything else in C tier.
Correct. I think at the very bottom of C is appropriate for Mewtwo.
It's about the middle of the pack, about where you need to be.
Yep.
The rest of these Ds, Giratina, Origin Form,
it's really bad. Don't play it.
Dawn Wings, and Lunala.
You played Lunala.
Lunala felt fine. Like a lot of the times,
Lunala that was good, or
no? Like actually, like I made sure to bring Lunala every time, and okay. Lunala was actually fine.
Okay.
As long as you could dodge out Urshifu and Kali's Shadow, a lot of the times, Lunala just got to sit there and just be a bulky Trick Room setter.
Okay.
That Meteor beamed an Oko to Dynamax Glastrier. That was the highlight of that. As I'm pretty sure I crit a Meteor beam at +1 and just blew up a Dynamax Glastrier. That I'm pretty sure was AV. Just blew it up. As for Dawn Wings, this is the one restrictor we didn't play with because it's essentially the same as Lunala. Like, nothing changes.
Yeah, it's Steel typing comparative, right?
Nope, it's still Psychic Ghost.
Close enough.
So the pairings keep the typings between them.
Yeah, because they're already Psychic, and Necrozma gains the Psychic typing to whatever. Yeah, it's stupid.
So it ends up being they get a little bit less speed, if I remember correctly.
I can look.
So
I have it pulled up.
I think Dawn Wings is 77 compared to 97.
Let's see. We have Lunala, which is 97. Dawn Wings is 77, correct.
Yeah.
But it takes those 20 and throws them into special attack. You're way bulkier. Well, you lose 40 points in HP, but you gain 20 in both of your defenses.
So it just swaps where your majority of your bulk's at.
The big thing is you lose Shadow Shield, and you gain Prison Armor.
Don't they do the same thing?
Shadow Shield, if you're at full HP, you take half damage from all attacks, whereas Prism Armor, you take 3/4 damage from only super effective attacks.
I mean, everyone's going to be trying to hit with the Dark type move anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's whatever.
Would you rather live one or maybe live one?
Yeah. That's like at that point, that's why we have Follow Me.
Yep.
Okay, F tier. These Pokemon still all suck.
Yeah.
Like, these are all weakened Pokemon compared to their fused forms above. That's about long and short of it there. Necrozma, Calyrex base form, and Kyurem base form. kind of just don't do anything.
It makes me
Why
laugh
play
that,
unfused Pokemon?
That Kyurem is so low, and like Kyurem Black is not much higher in retrospect. It makes me laugh that Calyrex is bottom of the barrel, and its fused forms are insane.
That's because the horses are the insane part of those fusions. Let's be real here. The reason they are good is because Spectrier and Glastrier are busted.
That is
Glastrier specifically.
very true.
So are you happy with this new tier list?
I am pretty satisfied with this.
We weren't terribly off on a lot of them. There was ones like Reshiram where we were really off, I feel like. But I don't hate like being wrong sometimes on certain things. It doesn't feel terrible. Looking over some of the other stuff here, it's like Lugia is fine where it's at. I wish it could do more. Like Lugia is one of my favorites, and it just doesn't do anything. Just doesn't do any damage. You ready to move on to Team of the Week here?
For sure, man. Let's get this knocked out here.
Okay, so today's team comes from YouTube. That hasn't happened in a while.
I don't think it's actually ever happened.
Yeah, this is our first time having a YouTube team. This came in from one of our viewers named Chris. And you're playing with it. You've already played with it a little bit.
I have played one episode.
Yeah, and how's
just
that
because
felt?
my weekend schedule is really hard for me to be able to get in and record, and I want to make sure that we don't have an instance like we did this last week where something comes up on Monday and I can't record.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the middle of recording when something comes up.
Yeah. Trying to get ahead. I'm currently ahead on Let's Plays. I got 4 episodes of Let's Plays of the Let's Play already recorded. I'm got another 2 PowerPoints for deep dives working on right now. So, but this team's cool. It's a Giga Zacian team. We're playing Worry Seed instead of Weezing though this time, which is something I tried to do in Draft League with Comfey. But Whimsicott is definitely a better Worry Seed user than Comfey or Thwacky would be.
Initial impression of this team: if Gigas doesn't feel good, you're really lackluster when it comes to Dynamaxing.
Yeah.
Like, AV Ensign, I did it in one game and it did not feel great. I Dynamaxed Spectrier a couple times and it felt fine. Does the Bulldoze seem really weird on this, or is it just me?
I think the Bulldoze is just to, like, be able to lower speeds on things like Regieleki and whatnot, and then you can, like, switch Zacian in, and then Zacian's outspeeds everything.
Or, like, protect Zacian plus Bulldoze. Yeah, okay.
Something like that. Yeah, Bulldoze is your speed control. Like, if, like, a Tailwind goes down and Whimsicott's not there and you need to get some speed, Bulldoze is, like, how you get your speed back.
Okay. I don't hate it then. But when I first saw it, I'm just like, that's really weird.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. You don't think about it that way. But it definitely can be niche usage when you need it to be. Spell attack boosts ghost type attacks, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And, like, the big thing there is, like, you already have your Focus Sash on Whimsicott, you already have your Life Orb on Gigas, so, like, what other item do you slap on Spectrier?
Expert Belt's fine,
I think Expert Belt is probably ideal, just because it boosts everything as opposed to just Shadow Ball, but...
Like, if you wanted a Dynamax Spectrier, you can just swap this Bulldoze out for Mudshot.
Yep.
And probably be fine. Snarl's fine, Will-O-Wisp is great. This Porygon 2 is actually really cool. Just, like, try attack, trick room, recover, and then Eerie Impulse you into the dirt. Whimsicott, Worry Seed, Tailwind, Moonblast, Protect. Pretty standard outside of Worry Seed. This AV Instant, I talked about Instant earlier, and it's like I mentioned AV as like a moveset, and it like how it wasn't the greatest thing in the world.
It's felt okay so far.
Like, losing Parting Shot and, like, Taunt is a big thing. And not having access to Snarl, instead you're playing Darkest Lariat, which is weird, and it's kind of like an okay, kind of not okay thing. This Zacian has Play Rough on it, and that's a big, like, no in my opinion. Like, it's Stab Fairy, but we don't care.
You say that, but it felt really good in the games I've played.
Like, a lot of the times you'd rather have Substitute or Swords Dance or something else in that slot, like Wild Charge if you really wanted a third move. A lot of the Zacian sets I've been playing, I just play Iron Head, Sacred Sword. And you just get them a lot of the time.
I'm actually curious what Architect says here.
I haven't covered Zacian, but I've been looking at it. I think Play Rough is like in the 30s.
Play Rough is 16.
Oh, wow, it's much lower than I thought it was.
Yeah, Behemoth Blade, Protect, Sacred Sword, Substitute, Swords Dance, Close Combat, and then Play Rough.
Yeah.
So you're above Wild Charge?
Yeah, Wild Charge is super niche, just specifically for Kyogre if you don't have Lapras on your team. But yeah, this team, like I said, got this from the YouTube. They said that they've been working on this for a little bit, and one of their first teams they built. I think it's really cool to like have Gigas and then Whimsicott instead of Weezing, because everyone expects Gigas Weezing when you see Gigas. It's just like Weezing is right there behind it. So having Whimsicott be your slow start like fixer is actually cool. Plus, it gives you Insomnia, which actually is like low key really good.
oh, it hasn't come up yet. But I've had an instance where I've wanted to Worry Seed my opponent more to get rid of their abilities. Like, if Gigas isn't good, I'm just like, I have Worry Seed. I can shut off their Prankster. Or I can shut off Solar Power. Or, just like, random ability that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's what's great. Is like that's kind of like what Weezing's good at, too. That's like when Weezing's not good. With the Lapdog Gigas team I was playing on ladder for the first month of Series 8, if Gigas wasn't good, you could just bring Weezing, and it's fine. Weezing does stuff still. So it was just kind of cool just being able to turn off people's abilities and actually just, like, weaken them.
Yeah, it's not fine. I kind of wish P2 was Trace.
Yeah.
Just because, like, Tri-Attack it's fine. But, like, download does not feel very good right now.
The format's
a lot
very
of things
especially
are
bulky.
To be specifically against P2, where you just get this random attack boost. And, like, every time I've brought it, I'm just like, okay, thanks. Would rather have literally any other ability right now.
Hashtag bring back return. Give P2 return.
Oh, please.
Does P2 get any good physical normal type attacks? To where we can take advantage of the attack boost?
Giga Impact.
I don't like that at all.
I legitimately think that's it. Let me look.
Oh, God.
We want physical, normal. We get Double Edge, Facade,
Ooh.
Giga Impact.
Do we get Trick?
We do in fact get Trick.
Okay, let's get a Facade ignores burn, if I remember right. Ignores the
you
burn.
Ignore the attack drop from burn.
So we go Eerie Impulse, Trick, Facade, and like Trick Room, and slap a Flame Orb on us, and we just take our burn, and then we trick it onto them, and then we just start blowing them up because they gave us an attack boost.
Just turn one, protect. Protect, trigger my Flame Orb, trick it onto you. Didn't you know that P2 got access to Will-O-Wisp?
Get him! Just get him. And then we get to Facade you to death because you
have
gave
no
us an
idea
attack
how much
boost.
I want to do this with like Grimmsnarl now.
Oh, Grimmsnarl is great.
The problem is like specifically Grimmsnarl and like Sableye, they just anticipate Fake Out on turn 1.
Oh yeah, they just play around the you're going to get them turn 1. That's why you use P2.
So like, I guess you could do it with Whimsicott, but like then you just die.
Yeah.
What other good prankster users are there?
Besides Tornadus and Thunderous. Oh wait, no, Tornadus is only a Defiant user. Haven't you heard?
You get Liepard and Meowstic.
Those are okay.
But again, don't they both have Fake Out?
Yep.
What about... There's not Trick, there's Switcheroo.
Yes, that's how Whimsicott does it.
There's Klefki.
That also has Prankster, but no Fake Out.
Exactly. So we can Switcheroo. We can Klefki Switcheroo.
There you go. That's not terrible. Oh. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
Not really. That's about all I've done this week is played laddering, played some more laddering. That's about it.
I played 4 episodes of Pokemon Snap. Took about an hour.
That's pretty
hour
good.
And a half.
I'm excited for that to go up. Is that going up this week?
Yes, it'll be the first episode up on Sunday. So yesterday.
Yesterday as of release.
As of this upload. Yep.
Okay, cool. So go watch the Let's Plays, guys. There's something just to fill in content, and personally, I really enjoy making them.
I don't do a lot of talking because, unlike Stadium, where there's a lot of downtime, there's no downtime in Snap. It is a lot of me looking around, trying to figure out what to take a picture of next, and I try to talk in there a lot of it's just me sitting there silently, moving the camera very quickly with a janky Nintendo 64 controller.
Whereas in Stadium, it's like, all right, now I had to theory craft. What do they do? I had to actually play Pokemon, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah, I got to take a picture of this Pokemon that's moving fast across the screen. I got some really cool some really cool pictures for in the first and second episode. I definitely episode 4 is a lot of backtracking, and episode 5 is going to probably be more of the same.
Yeah,
trying
to
get the Pokeflute unlocked and some other stuff. But eventually we're going to be speedrunning it on for the at least an episode for the YouTube, and I'm probably going to start speedrunning it on stream just to get practice runs in. It's not going to be super optimal because we're on English and my controller's kind of wonky, but it'll be fine.
Is it on the Wii U, like VC?
I think so. It's on the Wii. It's like one of them. Yeah, I think so.
Just to like lower lag time even more.
Yeah. I know the Japanese cart is the one that everybody runs on.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because it's just faster. Currently, but yeah, super excited to start uploading these Let's Plays episodes because they were just it was very easy to do because it's like 20 minutes, which means you run like 3 to 4 courses and then take pictures. Super excited for the new Pokemon Snap to come out.
Same. Should be.
I still need to pre-order mine.
About a month.
A little bit over a month.
So I thought it came out like the 13th or something.
Last day of April 30th.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, a little bit over a month.
Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. I'm excited for it. I will probably play it casually because you're going to do a Let's Play of it, and I don't want to stream it and then take away views from YouTube.
Yep. Super excited to play it casually for the Let's Play when it comes out.
So, yeah.
Oh, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Our tier list, covered Team of the Week. Go check out Let's Plays. Go check out Deep Dives. Go check out Laddering.
Yeah, for sure. Go and check out that Deep Dive. Those things are very good, very user friendly too. Helps you understand what's going on while providing information in a clear and concise way. So,
yep, that's the goal. Help all these new players.
So yeah,
that may not have played with them yet.
I think that's gonna be it.
I think that's everything.
All right, everyone. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications when new stuff goes live, leave a comment down below, pound that like button if there's any point during this video where you liked anything, and comment down below why our tier list is awful and how you would change it.
I can hear the people complaining about Lugia and Mewtwo and Xerneas right now. I can just hear them screaming in the comments.
If you're new here and you're not listening on YouTube, make sure you head on over to our YouTube channel. There's all kinds of stuff that we do there week in and week out, and we talk about it a lot here as well. So make sure you go and do that. Shout out to, like you said, we're now on Pandora. I know you did all that, so thanks.
Yeah. We are now a Pandora partner. It's not on the videos because we don't have to put it on the videos, but you'll see it on the tweets for Twitter and in the Anchor descriptions. A lot of the times it's just like hashtag Pandora podcast and things like that. It's just part of the partner program. Nothing special for it. Super excited to do that though. I think we're the only one of like one or two Pokemon VGC podcasts on Pandora, which is really cool.
That is really cool. I don't use Pandora at all. I use Spotify, so
I am been a diehard Pandora fan for a very long time. We have a premium subscription that I end up paying for every month, which is whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Let's see. You talked about Twitter, kind of. Make sure you go and follow us there at LR Lessons. Myself at Mr. Missouri25. Carl at musical_33. Carl and I are both on Twitch as well. If you really like our content and want to be able to support us, you can always do so on there by subscribing. If you really like that and don't have a Twitch account or whatever, we have the subscription program here through... I don't actually know what this is. This is all you.
So it's just essentially just like a Patreon page through Anchor for us. It helps support the podcast. You could donate anything from $1 to $10 a month, which ends up being as little to 25 cents an episode just to support us and help us out and get all of our jumpstart projects we're working on. Currently working on trying to get a website figured out and get merch. That way, once the website's done, we can do merch. Once the merch is done, we can start doing more stuff. It's a whole process.
It's a whole process and a half.
And we just have to get started and just get on it, but we haven't gotten on it yet just because we've been busy.
Yep. Discord. Come and join our community Discord. Our people are great. That's how you can get your teams on the show, on the YouTube channel for laddering, and more importantly, interact with Carl and myself and our community. They're great. Our community is easily my favorite place on the internet.
I know we're doing events like almost every day, like every other like week now. We had the Metronome Rumble last Saturday, which that's probably going to be a hoot.
I am excited to hear people rage quit and
oh yeah, I'm so excited to hear about people exploding and people using memento and dying.
Like, I would have won had I not been bad.
I know we're doing a multi-battle draft format as our off program right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once draft league ends, we're doing that. So if you're interested in multi-battlings, teaming up with a partner or anything like that, only one of you has to be in the Discord just so we can get like team pairings and whatnot coordinated around each other. But if you have a partner or two people that want to play multi-battles with, you can come join the Discord and go get signed up for that. Sign-ups end April 9th, I remember correctly.
Yes.
Not quite sure.
I think
that's what I read. Well, we've been out of the loop because we've been so busy with work. The mods have just kind of just like kept everything running for us, which they're great.
Our mod team is great, man. They make everything function.
Yeah, we kind of just like show up anymore.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I mean, that's kind of what it's supposed to be. It's like the mod team handles all the small stuff. We talk with people and whatnot and handle the content creation. So it's great.
Yep. But I think that's it. I think we're getting out of here.
I think that's everything. Yeah, let's get out of here. I'm hungry.
All right, guys. Have a good week. We'll be back next week. Peace.